Got Willie to sing on Beard My Horse, and if we get Haggard to sing this, because it sounded so much like something he would do, and being such an influence on us. We wanted to see if we get him to do it. And though radio stations didn't play it that much, I hear it a lot on select playlists on different streaming services today. It's kind of neat that I hear it, but they were kind of changing. Music was pulling a little bit away from the traditional country, so it wasn't probably going to fit in back then. But it's still good, and I'm glad I got to sing with my hero on a song that we wrote. I gave up on cigarettes.
Actually, it's not uncommon for the early stages of stomach cancer to actually have no symptoms or people not experience any symptoms. You know, if symptoms in the early stages of stomach cancer do occur, they could include things like indigestion or stomach discomfort, maybe feeling bloated after eating, some nausea, maybe appetite changes, some loss of appetite, and maybe heartburn. But again, not everybody with stomach cancer will actually have symptoms in the early stages, which, by the way, makes it tough in some ways to find, and often we find it later. By the way, guys, the stomach is an organ between the esophagus and the small intestine. What does it do? Well, the stomach helps us digest food, and stomach cancer is a cancer that develops from the cells lining the stomach. Okay, I'm Dr. Jen. By the way, it's good to see you. We're talking about stomach cancer. Specifically today, we're actually going to be talking about, I'm going to tell you the symptoms, but also, what causes it? Who gets stomach cancer, okay? Stomach cancer is the fifth most common cancer worldwide. And let me just go back to the symptoms, because I told you that early on with stomach cancer, you may not have any symptoms. And if you do, they can be some of the ones I mentioned, but not everybody has those. As the cancer progresses and advances, symptoms may include other things. The symptoms I just mentioned from the early stages, but also things like blood in the stool, which, by the way, always needs to be evaluated. Things like vomiting, weight loss that's unintentional. I've said this many times before. If you are losing weight and we don't know why and you're not trying, that always has to be evaluated for cancer and for other things. People with stomach cancer in the later stages often have stomach pain. They may become jaundiced, having like yellowing of the skin and eyes. They may develop fluid buildup in their abdomen. Trouble swallowing tends to be a symptom that we tend to see with stomach cancer. There can be other signs and symptoms as well. One thing I will say about this before I move on to what causes this type of cancer is, once again, if you have symptoms that are unusual for you, no matter how small or big you think they are, please make sure you get them checked out. All right, now let's go on now to what causes stomach cancer, right? Okay. First thing I want to say is that there are no sort of standard or routine screening tests to detect stomach cancer in people at average risk. We have mammograms for breast cancer, colonoscopies, and other screening tests for colon cancer. We don't have that for stomach cancer. Now, people who are at higher risk for stomach cancer, your doctor may choose to do testing, may choose to sort of try to screen you via physical exam, blood tests, pictures, endoscopies, maybe biopsies, things like that. But let's go back to, okay, well, what causes stomach cancer? Really, I think the question we should be asking is, so who is at highest risk for stomach cancer? What are the risk factors that can lead to this? First of all, age. Stomach cancer tends to affect older people, okay? 2/3 of people who have it are over the age of 65. But there are plenty of other risk factors. If you have had or have H. pylori infection, that is a microorganism that infects the inner lining of the stomach. That is a very common infection in certain parts of the world. That can put you at risk for stomach cancer. Also, if you have like stomach inflammation from a number of different conditions, that can put you at higher risk. Also, if you work in the rubber or coal industry, or you've been exposed to high levels of radiation, that is something that you need to be very thoughtful about, and your risk for stomach cancer may be higher. Also, acid reflux, that's gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD, right?
Eating. Passing on of the legendary Toby Keith, he is being remembered by the country music community following his death at the age of 62. Carrie Underwood, Blake Shelton, Dolly Parton, Jason Aldean, Old Dominion, Luke Bryan, Jelly Roll, Zach Bryan, Dan and Shay, and Luke Combs were among the stars who paid tribute to the Red Solo Cup singer Tuesday after his family shared the news of his death on social media hours earlier. Saddle up the horses, Jesus, 'cause a true blue cowboy just made his ride up to heaven, Underwood wrote on Instagram, sharing a gallery of photos of herself and Keith over the years. Introduce him to all the Okies and sign up that boy for the choir. We are gonna miss you, Toby, but my heart has no doubt that you are standing in the presence of our king right now, she added. See you again someday, friend. Aldin called Keith's death a sad day for country music and all its fans. He said, Toby was a huge presence in our business and someone we all looked up to and respected. You and your music will forever be remembered, big man. Toby inspired millions and I was one of them, wrote Jelly Roll on his Instagram story, noting that he covered Keith's Should Have Been a Cowboy at every show last year. Legendary group Old Dominion also shared their condolences on Instagram, saying, Toby Keith was a true trailblazer, said the group. Authentic and heartfelt, but always with a wink till the end. He was larger than life in so many ways, and his passing is a huge gap in our lives. His music will live on forever, raising our red solos tonight. You will be missed by so many. Peace. Too many rides in my old man's car listening to Toby Keith, tweeted Zach Bryan. Really hard thing to hear. Rest in peace, friend. We love you. Luke Bryan and Weeks dedicated posts to the late star as well, both sharing a photo of them with Keith on the red carpet together. Rest in power, King.